So, okay, so this is how it all happened.
This is how we met.
This is a story of how we met. I believe, how many years ago was it now? I can't remember.
Ooh, I don't know, dude. Time sure flies. So you can start with your side of the story.
Okay.
So, okay, just freaking start talking about
Okay.
what your situation first, then I'll mention mine.
All right.
So basically,
Basically,
Scissor lived in a insane mansion.
I was very rich.
Yeah, and the Scissor Pillow family, they had something that that I wanted.
So yeah, I was I don't know how old I was at the time. Maybe like 6 or 5 years old. Basically, my family, we just all lived in this mansion together, and this included like my
Yeah, your entire family from multiple generations. But here's the thing.
yeah, because we lived like a very long time.
I can't reveal my true name because it could end up ending both of our lives. But all I'll say is how I got my username is they had a private jester in their mansion, but I needed to get the golden scissor pillow for its time-stopping ability. So what I did is basically I murdered that jester and took the role of the new jester, and I basically was infiltrating the mansion to get the golden scissor pillow.
Which it's insane how it happened.
So basically, I spent years planning the perfect time to steal the golden scissor pillow unnoticed, and eventually I got it. I actually got the golden scissor pillow, and I tried to escape, and I did. And then at this time, the family, I believe, I made them very upset. So then it's up to you to say what happened with you guys next.
Next, like since he'd become the jester, like I will say, like he went like extremely undercover to the point like we were like I thought at least that we had become very good friends, but
yeah, I had fooled everybody. I made them think I was their friend.
He had basically moved in. He was in my house. Yeah.
But then when I stole the golden scissor pillow, I had abandoned them.
Yep. So he escaped, and I discovered it was his plan all along to steal the golden scissor pillow.
And then I time-stopping abilities.
Yeah, it had time-stopping abilities, which is insane. And I actually found out later that the reason for my family living so long was because we actually had harnessed the abilities and harnessed our abilities in ancient times to create the golden scissor pillow, which is why it has the time-stopping abilities.
Exactly.
So my family, so what I did discover many years later was that I could stop time with, but it did take many years and lots of training to be able to figure out how to do it.
And now you gotta say who trained.
So yeah, after Jester stole the golden scissor pillow, I was trained by a very smart cat named Apollo, and he had been around for a long time, many years, far longer than the average house cat's lifespan. And
was it your actual pet cat?
It was just a random cat. Like I didn't know him until he introduced himself to me. After the death of my father, which actually had I think Jester had something to do with it.
That's what most people thought, but I feel like it was someone who's described to look a lot like me.
Yeah,
but
most likely they shifted the blame onto you because of the other crimes that you committed at the time.
However, I think we both know who truly killed your father now. The true villain.
Yeah, I think we have figured it out.
We'll get to that later.
Yep. So I started training with Apollo, and I was able to unlock my time-stopping abilities as a scissor,
But didn't he also give you a time machine
to
just go back in time?
He was a very smart cat, and he had invented a time machine. He created portable versions of this time machine. He actually gave me one of the portable versions of this once he had perfected it, and so I used this to travel through time a lot, and really, I use it a lot for training, and that's why I became extremely powerful, because I could just stop time and go back in time and keep on training over and over.
However, due to my magic that I gained from the scissor pillow, I prevented him from going back to the day that I stole it, so he couldn't prevent that from happening.
Yeah, I could not go back to that day, no matter what I tried. No matter how strong I got, I just couldn't. I just couldn't do it.
When he was trained under Apollo, I met another extremely smart cat named Fluffy. But the thing I didn't know about Fluffy is he planned to train me for evil, and it ended up he didn't give me a time machine, so I only had time-stopping abilities. I never got the ability to travel back in time, though. And basically, what I would do is I would use my time-traveling, my time-stopping abilities to destroy many people that I considered not worthy, or just bad people that shouldn't even exist anymore.
Yeah. So
it corrupted me. Fluffy basically corrupted me.
Yeah. So he had been corrupted. I, at the time, since I had been training under Apollo, who was a bit, he had helped with lots of things before. He was like he was a good guy. And since I was trained under him for so long, I really developed the same mindset as him, and I realized like what Jester was doing was just not right. Just enforcing his own justice onto the world. So I thought I should train to stop him. And
he took up the name S.
Yes, I took up the name of S. As I was training with Apollo, a very ancient spirit was unlocked in me, and it had extreme strength and precision, and helped me to become incredibly strong.
What was that called again?
Yes, so this spirit's name was Dragon's Blue. So it was probably had probably been around for millenniums, and I guess it found me worthy to, and finally came back to Earth, because I assume that it hasn't been, I assume that no one else has had this power before me for a very, very long time. There actually is a large family of these spirits. Some of them are evil, some of them are good. They're just like humans.
Actually, at that point, I had achieved enlightenment under working with Fluffy, so it unlocked in me chaos dragons, which was my form of the spirit, basically.
Yeah.
And
because it can sense your potential, and since his spirit was a much more the spirits aren't exactly good or bad, but I would say that maybe
chaos is more on the bad side.
Yeah, I would say so.
So basically, at this point, with enlightenment, I learned of his time travel abilities, and I wanted to get them for my own. So I proceeded to go after Scissor to destroy him and get the time travel abilities alongside my time stopping abilities.
Yeah.
So that I could be extremely powerful.
And I didn't know at the time, because of the fact that he could also stop time. I didn't know that he could actually move around in my stopped time. So when I thought that I was sneaking around, when I thought I could be doing things privately, I had no idea that he actually could see everything that I was doing. And so he also knew the things that I did when I reset time as well.
Yeah, so, and you did some pretty terrible things.
Yeah, at the time I had started to do very bad thing, lots of anger. I could never even manage to reach enlightenment.
I believe so. Eventually I did catch up to you, and then it started a very long, drawn out war.
Yeah, it started a very, very long, drawn out war. Well, I will go over some of the details of what happened before the war. So yeah, we were both basically trying to stop each other because, well, I guess I was trying to stop him. I was trying to stop Jester from using his powers for evil, and he was trying to stop me so that he could get my abilities to go back in time.
Yeah. You couldn't access the future, if I remember correctly, though,
Yeah,
right?
the future, I was only able to, like, spectate possible futures. I was never able to actually go to the future. One thing that happened, I was at school at this time, and I stopped time and started to kill every single person I could find when I stopped time. And I had no idea that Jester was watching this whole time.
And that's when I decided I had to destroy you and take your powers, right?
Yep.
You had been corrupted under the hate towards me for stealing the artifact.
So we had both been corrupted for different reasons. The war started then after these events, and we had very long war, and it was, well, really, it was less of a war and maybe more of a very just extremely long battle, because the battle really never ended. We just kept on battling and battling.
Because we were pretty much evenly matched by the time we caught up to each other.
Yep.
Because even though I was enlightened and he wasn't, he could go back in time to fix his mistakes that I couldn't. At one point, once we had finished battling, we were both very weak and tired by the battle.
Yeah.
And that's when the worst thing happened to both of us.
Yes.
I never told anyone about this because he was a disgrace to my family, but I have a twin brother, identical to me in every way except for one. He's completely hairless and bald. He's like a little baby rat. So his name is Thaddeus. We have referenced him and referred to him in multiple videos before, but the thing about Thaddeus is he's not corrupted. He's just pure evil. He's just insane.
He is what you would call a bad seed. Ever since birth, he has just been evil.
Insane.
Yes.
And I know him my whole childhood, and I can confidently say he's not just one of, but he is the worst human I have ever known. I don't even know if he is human. He's too evil to be human. So
yeah.
Once we were both weakened by our battle, he actually came and consumed both our powers at a weakened state, making himself an ultimate being who controlled time itself.
Yeah, because he had nowhere near our powers, but since we were so weakened from our battle, it was his perfect opportunity.
However, I didn't, but Scissor actually had a brother himself by the name of Brian.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets good. We had to flee the fight from Thaddeus, and for hundreds upon hundreds of years, Thaddeus was an overlord among time. So what we had to do is gain strength. We both trained under Apollo now as we worked together toward one goal, which was to defeat Thaddeus.
And we ended up traveling through the multiverse to try to destroy Thaddeus, because he had reached, like, he was not only double both of our powers, but like much more, because he had unlocked many more abilities because it was our combined powers. And
we could never encounter him in other multiverses. We could never stop him from being born. We never even found him. It was like he didn't exist. He was just above existence itself. So we were getting pretty desperate.
Eventually, we came across a universe where there was no one except Thaddeus. There was just him. And we realized that this is where all the other Thaddiuses were. He brought every single Thaddeus to this one universe where they would all be safe from us.
And now, after being trained, we had both reached pure enlightenment.
Yes.
After training under Apollo for so long.
Yes.
That we were able to destroy all the Thaddiuses except one, which was the ultimate.
The ultimate, the original from our universe, our universe, if anyone...
It no longer exists.
Yeah, we'll get into that after we're finished with this main event. But eventually we did find our Thaddeus, and
And then it came to be a long battle.
Yes, it was very long since we had regained all of our strength, other than, of course, time-stopping abilities, which had been stolen straight from us, like sucked out of us.
And it was honestly a miracle that we even had a chance to fight him. But we put up our best fights with our combined abilities and enlightenment, and we ended up weakening him greatly. But this is the saddest part of the story right here. And I don't know if I can bring myself to say it, and you have to say it yourself. Because it was your master after all.
Well, after all this time, Apollo, he was able to sacrifice himself. We were on the brink of being defeated after bringing him so weak. He was so weak, but
He was about to do the final blow to us, but Apollo jumped in the way, blocking Thaddeus's blow.
So he actually saved both of our lives, and he also saved Barry and Carl,
who were our pet rocks in our pockets throughout the entire story.
Yeah.
And he used one last spell before he was wiped from existence completely, as if he had never been in the first place. He stole the time abilities from Thaddeus, and they ceased to exist with him.
Yep.
All gone. And this was at the point now when your brother Brian comes in to the story.
So
he came and delivered the final blow on Thaddeus, destroying him once and for all.
Yep. Thaddeus, there's no more Thaddeus's across the entire multiverse now. And after Brian delivered this blow, he left and he flew away.
He became an ultimate being, a divine creature, and is just gone. It's where he probably wanders the hundreds upon thousands of different possibilities and timelines. Maybe he's helping in worlds where Thaddeus won. I don't know. But it's his goal, I think, to save everything. And basically, at that point, we had a marriage for Barry and Carl. They got married.
Yeah,
and,
which is very exciting.
Yeah, we were all back to normal humans now, and rocks, I guess, for them.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, we had created enough mess-ups in the timelines that caused alternate younger versions of ourselves to meet in a separate universe and record videos from a young age, which can be seen featured on the Scissor Pillow channel.
Yep. And many others before this even.
And after we teamed up and defeated the true villain of the story, had the marriage for Barry and Carl, we went home back to Scissor's mansion and recorded a Mario Maker 2 video titled Sucking at Mario Maker 2 and uploaded it to YouTube. So that's the story of how we met.
That's everything up until now. Thank you, everybody, for coming and watching our backstory. We just had to get it out there.